One of the things that I love most about Earthcare is the community passion that is out there in St Kilda and surrounds. People love these penguins so much, and we feel so lucky that we get to be a bridge between the community and these beautiful birds. Because of the new design of the pier, we think that a ticketed system would be the most sustainable and best way to manage the experience for tourists.
So we've released a survey where we're asking the community to tell us what they think about ticketing.
G'day mate, and welcome to the Sustainaroo Travels Podcast, where we showcase the ways real people are making real world changes to live, work and travel sustainably.
Hi, my name's Lana. I'm the president of Earthcare St Kilda.
And I'm Flossy. I'm the vice president and the research coordinator. So Earthcare was first formed in 1986, back when a researcher from Monash University named Mike Cullen started up a research program here at the colony. Earthcare were very involved in that program, and eventually we went on to be the leaders of that program and have been running a research program in the colony ever since. At a certain point in 2008, we started to notice that there was a lot of people starting to view the penguins. And so the research volunteers then started to become penguin guide volunteers as well. And they would be out here every weekend in summer, just talking to visitors about the penguins and making sure they weren't using any white light or they weren't touching any penguins or getting in their way. And eventually, just prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, we were getting crowds of thousands of people out here every single night. And so we would have volunteers out every night as well, including Christmas and New Year's. There'd be about 10 volunteers each night, and again, primarily just making sure people weren't using white light and educating the visitors, but also because the crowds were so big, the penguins weren't able to actually cross the paths because there was too many people in the way. And so eventually the penguin guides learnt how to sort of separate the crowds and end up having penguins walking through, and that became a big part of our role before the breakwater closed.
So before the pier closed down, before COVID lockdowns and the subsequent pier redevelopment, there were so many people coming out here, over 1,000 per night. And that was a real challenge for our penguin volunteer guides. They did the best that they could, but it was too much. So we're really thankful for the new pier design, which will have a viewing platform for community members, and the penguins will be separate on the breakwater. So that will be really excellent.
So Parks Victoria are the land managers down here, and they're responsible for the whole pier redevelopment and the design of the new boardwalk. But we've been really important stakeholders involved in the conversation, making sure that the new design of the boardwalk is safe for penguins. And the primary thing that we're looking for is we wanted to make sure the penguins and people were not sharing the same path anymore. And we're really grateful for Parks Victoria and the architects for designing a boardwalk that does that. So that's a huge win for the penguins. And throughout the whole construction process, we've also been really involved making sure that the penguins are safe during the construction works. So we've been out here when they were piling and doing other sort of invasive works that could be an issue for the penguins, and just been out here making sure that penguins stay safe. And Simpsons Construction have been really incredible at communicating with us and always putting penguin safety before the construction.
One of the things that I love most about Earthcare is the community passion that is out there in St Kilda and surrounds. People love these penguins so much, and we feel so lucky that we get to be a bridge between the community and these beautiful birds. Penguins aren't the only things that we do, but it's one of the things that we're most proud of because it helps people feel connected with their place. And if they have that connection with the penguins here, they then care about the environment that the penguins live in and a more broader concern for the environmental welfare. And that's so important for people that live so close to the city, to have something that is accessible, that's beautiful and awe-inspiring when they can just get off a tram and come and look at some beautiful birds. I feel really privileged, and I know Flossy does as well, that we can be a part of facilitating that and making sure that that continues into the future.
On that I think it's incredibly important that the local community have access to visit the penguins, that it's financially accessible. Being an urban colony, the local community don't have access to that many natural spaces around them. And this is a beautiful opportunity for people to connect with nature. And when people have that opportunity to connect, they care more. And when they care more, that has positive impacts for the environment as well. So it's just really important for everyone that the community has access to view the penguins. And we're really passionate about community involvement and making sure the community get to have these great experiences, as well as penguin protection.
Because of the new design of the pier, we think that a ticketed system would be the most sustainable and best way to manage the experience for tourists. So we've had discussions with St Kilda Sea Baths, who's a business that's at the start of the pier here on the foreshore. And what we are in early discussions about is St Kilda Sea Baths managing the ticketing side of things, so people can go to St Kilda Sea Baths, buy their tickets, and then the tourists can walk up to the penguins and view them being guided by Earthcare volunteers. So what our proposal is that the tickets will be a really affordable price, and we're especially looking at keeping it affordable for local people, so within the Melbourne region, with concessions available for students and healthcare card holders.
As a not-for-profit local organisation, a big part of our role is to be advocates for the community. And we want to make sure that whatever we are advocating for is in line with what the community wants. So we've released a survey where we're asking the community to tell us what they think about ticketing. So that comes down to, should it be ticketed at all? How much should people pay? Who should be receiving concessions? Whether it should be locally run. And we're hoping to get as many responses as possible so we can get a great picture of what people think, so that we can then pass that information on and make sure that we're getting the best outcome for the community.
So the pier redevelopment should be finished by the end of 2024, and it's for that reason that Earthcare is seeking an endorsement to continue being the managers of penguin visitation, of conservation and protection.
One of the really great things about our Penguin Guide program is the volunteers themselves actually provide such amazing, authentic experience when you go and view the penguins. Each of them is doing it out of the goodness of their heart, and they just love what they're doing, and their love for viewing the penguins is infectious, and you just can't help but kind of fall in love with the whole experience when you're out there talking to them.
Yeah, I think it's something that really adds to a tourist experience when they come out here. Some of our volunteer guides have been doing it every week for 10 years.
Every day even.
Some people are really, really dedicated. So those people we don't want to lose through the cracks. If the management of ticketing and visitation and research, if that was to change hands, we're really deeply concerned about losing that real deep-seated local stewardship of the colony.
Yeah, and a lot of the volunteers know a lot of the visitors that come out here as well, because it's not just the volunteers who are out here most nights, but there are certain people who this is just on their doorstep. It's part of their nightly walk, and they want to come and see the penguins and have a chat to the volunteers, and it's a whole kind of community experience.
Yeah. And even recently I brought a young man out here to propose to his fiancée. And for me, that was so special because this colony will forever be a part of their love story. That sounds so lame, but it's true. It's a part of their story, and we feel so pleased that we can be a part of that. And that couple will always care about the care of this colony, and, you know, they'll tell their friends and their family about how important this colony is.
So when people come down here to view the penguins, often what used to happen is that they would arrive about an hour before sunset because they want to watch the sunset at the end of the pier. They would be greeted by our penguin guides who would tell them that the penguins don't actually come in for another hour and a half, so the penguins usually arrive about half an hour after sunset. For that time, during the day, the penguins are all out in the bay. They'll be foraging, hunting for fish. When the penguins start to feel a bit more safe as the light's going down, that's when they start to return home. And at that point, you might get to see some rafts coming down between the marina and the breakwater. Usually by the time the penguins get to the sort of penguin viewing experience, the raft is sort of broken up and there may only be sort of 4 or 5 penguins per raft. But that's still really nice for the visitors to get to see the penguins swimming around and then hopping up on the rocks to greet their partner, or if it's the breeding season, they might be greeting their chicks, which will be desperately looking for them, making all kinds of noises, trying to get fed. And then you also get to see the penguins trying to hop up these rocks, which with tiny little legs can be quite an experience to get to watch. And they can be pretty clumsy, and oftentimes we would have penguins fall down the rocks and then you'd hear a big gasp from all the visitors who were concerned about the safety of the penguins, but they're pretty robust little guys and generally they end up being okay. And when the penguins start to come in their rafts, that's when all the penguins start calling to each other, because penguins have got really good recognition of their own chicks or of their partner. And so their partner who has maybe spent the day on the breakwater with their chicks or looking after some eggs, and that partner will start calling out to the one that's just returned home. And so it can get really, really noisy here on the breakwater around that sort of half an hour after sunset time. And that will last for about an hour, where penguins are just making all kinds of noises to each other. If there is a bit of a turf war, if a penguin tries to go over to another penguin's area, they'll certainly let them know about it, and you'll get to hear all the drama that goes on as well. There's other wildlife that you can see out here as well. So just behind me are a couple of little pied cormorants sitting on the rocks. We've also got a pair of pied oyster catchers who breed out here every year. And if you're lucky, you might also get to see the native water rat, our ricali. You might even see their middens, which are just like the leftover bits of food that they've been eating. So mollusk shells, if you find a little pile of them sitting on the rocks, that's from the ricali. They take it there and eat their food that way. But ricali here in Australia basically fill the role of an otter. So they've got webbed feet and they're really good at swimming, and they're really cool if you get to see those.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode. The survey mentioned will be open until late June 2024. The link is in the description. You can also support Earthcare and the St Kilda Penguins by becoming an Earthcare member, joining their range of incredible events, donating, or, of course, coming to visit the penguins when the redevelopment is complete at the end of the year in 2024. Don't forget to check out the full show notes for this episode and all our episodes for more in-depth information and incredible resources at Sustainaroo Travels.com.au. Thanks guys, and we'll catch you in the next episode.